So, for a while at this point, I've been interested in the many indie games that have come from RPG Maker. I've played a lot of the popular ones like One Shot, Omori, Yume Nikki, but one I ended up missing was Off. So recently I decided to check that out. So today we're talking about the cult classic Off, made by Mortis Ghost. Off came out in 2008 in French. There was later a fan translation for English that was created and finished around 2011, but since then it's gained a cult following, and makes you wonder, why? So what is Off? Off is a game. Yeah, thank you. Such a definition. Off is an RPG. It's about 3 to 5 hours long, and you play as a character named the Batter. Your goal is to purify the zones. You go around these zones, defeating specters, solving puzzles. I'd say it's a pretty good time. Now, starting this game, it feels very abstract, and has a very bizarre vibe, almost like a liminal space in a way. Off has a unique atmosphere that has this certain charm to it. The game itself has a very unique feel to it, and artistically, it's very interesting. But what about the gameplay? That's the most important part of the game, right? Let's talk about it. Off has pretty interesting gameplay for the most part. See, it has an RPG fighting system similar to something like Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy VII, where you wait to make your turns. Battles themselves are pretty easy, and while they are somewhat simple, a lot of these enemy designs are pretty unique. The other part of the game is the puzzles. See, Off has a lot of puzzles. Some of them are very cryptic, but they are all very satisfying to solve. See, Off is a game where a lot of the puzzles are very unique and honestly very satisfying to solve. A lot of the puzzles are remembering patterns and looking for similarities and using certain items. The ones that are satisfying to solve are very satisfying to solve. Then there's a few cryptic ones, mostly in the library zone, that take a little too long in my opinion, and some of the gameplay feels a little bloated when you're wandering around these areas for one clue at a time while random encounters happen. But overall, the puzzles are just very solid, and I genuinely think you should just check it out, man. It's a pretty good game. Going over it now, there are a few flaws, but to be fair, this is a 2008 RPG Maker game. For most of the quality you get from these, this is pretty good. Now, let's talk about the music. The music in this game is very unique, but it has some good tracks. See, it's got this almost ambient vibe, and a lot of the music isn't very, upbeat. It's very somber in a way. But, oh my gosh, there's just some tracks that are, blow me away. The battle theme, for example, is amazing. It's got this weird, distorted vibe, and while at first it may seem a little disorienting, after listening to it, it's just so damn catchy. Oh my god, I love it so much. Now, it's not one of those soundtracks that you're going to be listening to every single track from. It's got plenty of songs that are just long synth waves. Overall, I think the music fits the game. The tracks that are good are extremely good. Next up, art style. If you've noticed by now, this game has a somewhat abstract art style with very detailed characters in battles and very simplified characters in the overworld. It's very interesting, and while it almost seems like a horror game at some points with some of these designs, but the game never gets to the point where it feels like a horror game. It's just got this vibe, And this art style reflects that vibe. A lot of the things that happen are very abstract. The backgrounds are misty skies that have things towering over them. The art style is just very unique and pulls what it's doing off very well. Now we've got the story. Now, writing-wise, this game is pretty humorous. While there are some cryptic speaking characters, this game is very charming in the way it is. You've got characters like Zachary and the Judge who are just pleasant. A lot of my problems with some of these games is that they don't give the characters enough character to make you attached to the characters. Think Yume Nikki, you get a vague idea of these characters, but you never end up talking to them long enough to really care for them. This game has that perfect balance between explaining enough and not too much. The writing, when it takes itself seriously, it's got a story to tell and it does it good without feeling like it's a big story. In fact, there's a lot of parts I think are very good for what this game is. And when it's humorous, it's got good humor. The story itself is interesting. It starts off somewhat slow, but you're mostly taking in the world towards the beginning, seeing how things work, why they're the way they are. It's a very interesting thing, and I find it quite amazing, honestly. I'm not going to go into any deep spoilers, but I really enjoyed the ending I got. I got the good ending. The story has one big twist, but it's not like you didn't see. It's not like the twist was a big reveal. It's just a change in perspective, if you will. See, this world of Off is very unique and interesting, and the story it tells is amazing. And the ending fits the game. So many games, I feel, struggle because they have these big, amazing things, but everything about this game fits what it is. You've got a cast that's recognizable, you've got characters that you can relate to, but it's interesting. And trust me, this game gets very fourth wall break. This game has a lot of fourth wall breaks. In fact, it might have been a pioneer of getting some of these fourth wall breaks to be somewhat popular. They directly refer to you as the player all of the time. And let's just say, yeah, it's your actions. You did this. There's a lot you can take from the story of Off, and they leave enough up to interpretation where you can still provide your own theories. I find it very unique and somewhat amazing. I just have to say, go play this game, seriously. It's free. It's 100% free. It should not take up a lot of your time, and it's just genuinely really good. While Off starts out cryptic, it's still a very enjoyable experience, and I think if you want to get into this is a good starting point. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, consider subscribing. And yeah, I think we're almost at 50 subscribers. That's pretty crazy to me. I'm just saying.